Coach, good morning. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
Congratulations on making it to the UFL Championship.
Thank you very much.
Last week, you all defeated the Birmingham Stallions, which you haven't defeated them before. How does that feel, and how you have that momentum shift over to the UFL Championship?
Well, obviously it feels extremely good. I mean, we'd lost to them more times than we could count, I guess. And all of them had been close games. All of them had come down to the very end. They'd either the last play or the last drive. So it's quite a challenge to beat them. There's quite a rivalry between the two, but naturally they had the upper hand. So it was, I don't know what the word you'd use for it, but nonetheless, after the game, it was really exciting for all the guys and to watch them. So how does that lead into the next game? I think we have a good football team. I think that was shown last week by beating Birmingham. It gives you a little bit of momentum, a little bit of confidence, but we're playing a very good football team, obviously coming in against DC, so we've got our work cut out and stuff. But like I said, I think it was exciting to win last week, but I think our guys are on to this week for sure.
Next question for Coach in the middle. And name and affiliation, please.
Yes,
Devo Sports here. I would like to talk about adversity and some of the adversity that you guys have faced this year. But you just run it down and let us know, all you've overcame to get to this moment.
Well, I don't know if it's been adversity. I would say it's a very resilient group. We've had several games where we've had to come back to win. It was the same way last year for us. I should say several. We've had a number of games that way. Some games we've been out in front, won the game, but there's been games where we've had to come back against good opponents. One of the ones I recall the most would be the Arlington game. We played Arlington there, and it came down to the very final play of the game to win the game, where Bryce had to get the ball down to the one. We were fortunate to have another second or two on the clock. So that was an exciting time. I think that was a kind of a pivotal moment for the team a little bit going forward. It was I believe the next week that we clinched a playoff berth. But as far as adversity we faced, it was really more just from game to game. Some games were more difficult than other games. But outside of that, injuries everyone faces throughout the years. Both teams, even DC, I'm sure, faced several injuries. That's kind of part of the league. That's just the way it goes. The NFL faces the same thing. But, that would, if there was adversity, it would be injuries. But everybody faces them, and we were able to overcome them. Naturally, our quarterback faced it a little bit, and we got Bryce back, so that's good.
In the middle.
Yes, sir.
Yes, nice to see you in person, Mr. Nolan. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's Alan from the Alford Sports Talk Show. I got a chance to get a head start and interview Nate McCrae yesterday at the Southside Early Childhood Learning Center. And he was very confident. He basically said, if you guys execute 100%, his exact words, 100%, you win this game. Do you agree with that?
This game will come down to execution. When two teams are very similar and good, I would say. They've got very good personnel, so do we. I think they've got an excellent coaching staff. I think Coach Harris has done an outstanding job. I think it does come down to execution. The thing that changes games a lot of times is when you kind of give your opponents opportunities that are more your mistake than what they've done well, if that makes any sense. Most of them are just battles one-on-one, and players win them and lose them, and so does the team, things like that. But I think it's going to be it should be a very good game. Like I said, I think these are two teams evenly matched that they're good football teams and well coached.
On the left, third row.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Hello, good, thanks.
For a championship game, is there a different mentality from a coaching perspective? Are you looking to be more aggressive, trying to keep it the same? And what's the message to the locker room before the game?
Good question. I think when you get to the end of the season, not just this game, but last week, and sometimes at the end of the season when you need to win a game, I think you do have to do a little bit more scheme-wise because the teams are very evenly matched. It's much like in the NFL, when you get into the playoffs and the Super Bowl, you kind of have to bring something a little extra to get to the next level because everyone is good at that time. And being the most talented team doesn't win the games like during the season it can do for you. You're going to get wins, like I said, during the course of a year that you're just the better team. Not really the better scheme necessarily, but you got better players. And like I was just saying a minute ago, I think this is a game that when you get to this point, both teams are very evenly matched, very talented from a physical standpoint, and now there's got to be a little bit of extra juice somehow to get you that win. Could be even in the special teams. A lot of times you look at offense and defense, what people do, whether they pressure more or not, or offenses take shots down the field more or less. It's special teams is another area where it could sometimes change the game. And as we all well know, we've all seen games where it comes down to the field goal at the very end as well, when they're very evenly matched. I think this game will be much of the same.
On the right, second row.
Hi, Mike. Adrian Dater at Detroit Free Press. Mike, you've got such a long, illustrious career in coaching, NFL, head coaching, and whatnot. But how much have you really enjoyed, or how would you describe your experience so far being in this new league? Not new, but you know, I'm saying for the last 2 years, this new experience for you.
You know, I retired about 5 years ago. I was out for a couple years, and then I was able to have the opportunity to come back in here, and it's been very rewarding, probably as much, if not more, than any of my NFL teams I was with, and even big games we were in. Only because everybody in this thing is, I refer to our guys and everybody in the UFL as the players in particular. It's kind of everybody's getting up off the mat. And it's a refreshing group of people because of that, because they've been knocked down. They know they kind of been there. They want to get back. Things like that. You know, look, the long snapper makes the same as the starting quarterback. So there's not those issues with money. They all want a good paycheck. Everyone does. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of things that we don't have to deal with in our league that I think are really refreshing, just from a football standpoint. They all make a lot of sacrifices to come here and do this, and I appreciate that about them. Not just the players, but the coaches and all the people that are in staff involved in it. But it's, like I said, I think this is, for me anyhow, this is as rewarding as anything, if not more than anything in my career. You know, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy being with the players, and if I can help them achieve their goals, that's what my goal is.
Left side, second row.
James Larson with Pro Football Newsroom. Coach, this is the DC team that you've gotten the best of twice the last 2 seasons. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. What are going to be some of the challenges that you might face against DC tomorrow night?
The first challenge is I believe they're a much better team than they were when we faced them way back. As everyone knows, Coach Harris took over early in the season when they had the coaching change. But not only there, their coordinators changed a little bit, so they had a lot of things going on with and we kind of caught them right after that. I think this will be a very good game. I think it'll be different than the last 2. Yes, we've beaten them twice, but they're a very good football team, very well coached. They're on a high. I love the energy. Their football team, in my opinion, plays a lot like their head coach. They've got a lot of energy. They're exciting to watch. They play extremely hard, very passionate about when they play. So I think it's a better team than we faced mid-season. They know they are as well, and so it'll be a real challenge. It should be a very good game.
Right side, first row.
Hey, Coach. Matty Fresh from Spring Ball Boulevard. You guys have scored 31 points on conversions after touchdowns. That's a league high. I think you hit on about 70% of them. Seems like you're one of the only coaches in the league who sticks to the 1-pointer. A lot of other coaches going for 2, including DC. What makes sense to you to keep going for 1, and then what leads to that success?
It's all, to me, because the extra point, whether it be 1, 2, or 3, is not a given. If the 1 point gets me 1 above them, for example, if we're the first to score, it's only natural that I go for 1, because they got to go for 1 or go for 2, but it's not a given. And because it's not a given, I'm going to take the easier of all of them. Just all I need to do is win by 1 point. So I'm not trying to win by 7. I'm not trying to win by 8. I'm not trying to think plan ahead. We're trying to do that. So there are times, that we've had to go for 2 and even for 3 this year, in order to get back in a game. But for me, it's really just about, like I said, it's not a given that you're going to get 1. So if I can go up by 1 and make you in a situation where you're going to have to get 1, only need 1 to win. So that's kind of why philosophically why we do what we do. And our offense has been very good at getting 1. And so that's been a plus for us.
We're going to stick to the right side, first row.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Coach.
Good
Henry
morning.
Light, Spring Ball Boulevard. Bryce had a great game last week, 80% completion percentage. How did you simulate in-game reps during his couple weeks off?
In-game, I mean, so while he was...
In-game reps in practice, yeah.
Yeah, well, he practiced, the 3 weeks he didn't play. Was it 3? I think it was 3 games he didn't play. Is that correct? Even the very first week, he was practicing at a slower pace. We kind of slowed things down to get him in there, but we were hoping he would play in the game. Obviously, that went on for 3 weeks. Now, after the first week when we knew he was down, we kind of backed off because we were in the playoffs at that point. That first game, Danny came in and played well, and he won the game for us, so we were in the playoffs. So we were fortunate to be able to back off a little bit and just make sure that Bryce, could heal up and get well. But so he just took very limited work getting ready. So coming up to last week's game, now naturally the last week in preparation, he took most all the reps as a starter would do because we had planned on him to be there. And naturally this week is the same. But it's really just based on his injury and how, what he's capable of doing. And that's how we kind of gauge it.
We're going to come back to the left side first row.
It's D again, D Love Sports. Wanted to know how you guys celebrated Bryce being that offensive player of the year.
How he said, well, I'll tell you, it was fun. I think it was a couple of days ago this week when they announced it, or middle of the week, but Daryl Johnson had stopped by, and I believe that's what he stopped by to do, was to tell the team. But anyhow, so it was a morning meeting. It was the 8 a.m. meeting that we have every day, and so I can't remember if it was when I was all through or I wanted to start it off there. But when I saw him there, I thought, it's usually good news if Daryl stops by. He'll get me individually if it's not. But anyhow, he announced it to the team. The team gave him a standing ovation, and they were really excited for him. And I think it came as a surprise, because there's a lot of good players in this league that are very deserving of that. Obviously the quarterback for DC is very deserving. Outstanding year for him as well. But anyhow, everyone was really excited, and as you would think they'd be too. I mean, Bryce is not only our quarterback and very good on the field and as a player and helps us win and all that, but he's a really good person as well. And I appreciate that most about him, to be perfectly honest with you. He comes from a good family. He's very solid in a lot of ways.
We're going to see if we have any questions from Zoom.
Yes, Mike.
Hey, Coach Nolan, Mike Falco from the Bottom Line Podcast.
Why aren't you here, Mike? What's up?
As far as your journey, so following you and this Michigan Panthers organization from when this 2022, but you got there in 2023, and the journey from the game against the Pittsburgh Maulers in Canton for the North Championship that went to overtime, crushing defeat in that game, then the couple at Birmingham. I want to know, you, Coach Nolan, Mike Nolan himself, what would this championship win for the Michigan Panthers mean to you first?
The game we're getting ready to play, what does the championship mean to me? It means, I tell you what, it's kind of putting the game itself that we're going to play is going to be an exciting game. In my opinion, what I think about is obviously our football team and how we got here and the players that are involved in it. So the excitement that I have is certainly not an individual one at all. As a matter of fact, that's about the last thing I would think about. It's collectively kind of looking at our players and our coaches and everybody, like I was saying earlier, that has sacrificed so much just to get here, whether it's to be here to begin with or just the things that they do on a daily basis. So if the game was to mean something to me, it really is. It's about the team and their opportunity to win a championship. So often in sports, even team sports, there's a lot of individualism going on. And when a team or the individuals can come together as a team, which is what the championship teams have done to get here, it's so much more meaningful than the individual things. I love the individual things, and when the season's over, we'll break it down on an individual basis. But right now, it's all about the team. So that's the most exciting thing about team sports, to be honest with you. And football is the ultimate team sport. So for those reasons, it's got a lot of meaning to me.
We'll take another question from Zoom.
Oscar?
Yeah, thank you very much, Alford. Hello, Coach. Congratulations.
Hello, Oscar.
Everything's fine. More than a question is, could you say some words to all the Mexican fans follow the Michigan Panthers and the UFL for this great game tomorrow? Thank you very much, Coach. Gracias.
Yes. Well, Oscar, leading off with you and all the fans that are in Mexico, we appreciate all the fan support we've gotten. As a matter of fact, our Michigan, I need to say the same to the Michigan fans who live in Michigan and wherever you are. We appreciate your support all the time. As a matter of fact, our last game of the season at home, we had about 16,000 at the game, which was our highest total of the season. And it was really exciting. We didn't win the game, but nonetheless, it was a very exciting atmosphere, and we really enjoyed it. But we also appreciate the fans wherever they might be. And in Mexico, if that's where they are, Oscar, right now, thank you for supporting us. Continue to support us, and we hope to give you, represent you very well in this game, championship game.
We're going to take 2 more questions in the center.
Yes, Alan from the Allen Alpha Sports Show again. You can prepare a lot for a big game like this, but there's always the human element where guys get nervous. What do you tell the players at that point to just settle them down?
That's a great question because they're all different. Some of them are some of our players are in their early 20s and some of them are in their late 20s. There might be a player or two that are in their 30s that have been through a lot. Some of them are here because they want to get back in the NFL. Some of them are here because they just love playing football, although I do believe all of them love football. I think that's something where they're going to have to work through that because you can't address everybody from where they're at. But everybody is at a different spot. So for that reason, I think it's a great question, but it's one that's so wide, reaches out so wide with so many different people that it's a dynamic that'll happen for both teams in the game, and it'll have some kind of bearing on the game, but you'll never really be able to see it because it's inside. It's one of those things, but because I don't believe anyone will appear to play nervous. There's always with players that until that initial hit, things like that initial play, that initial catch, that initial throw, whatever it might be, that initial block, that until that time, they got some, little jitters going, but usually pretty early in the game, most of those guys get rid of them. And if somebody is very nervous about it, you can usually tell and they're not performing. And I would say this, that I don't foresee anyone on our team being there because I think most all of our guys are professional enough that they've been through that already. They've, when they get to this part in their life, they've played a lot of football. So I think they're ready. But there's always a little bit of nervousness. Just excitement, if you want to call it that, is as much of what it is as it is nervousness.
We'll take one more in the building, and then we'll take one from Zoom on the right.
Adrian Dater, Detroit Free Press. Mike, you said you were retired 4 years ago, and I assume you were happily retired, a long career in football. What was
I was very happily retired. I have 10 grandkids. I love them.
What was the thing that made you the itch to come back?
The opportunity to give back. It's that simple for me to say. The opportunity to give back is the 100% why I came back. Everything else in my life is great, and I wasn't missing anything there. But given the opportunity to come back and work with these guys and to try to help them achieve their goals and things like that, and they have a lot of personal goals, but they also have a team goal, and that's what this is all about. So if anything, that gives this game just a little more meaning in doing the job than the last 2 seasons where we got knocked out during the playoffs. But that's why.
Final question from Zoom.
Mike?
Coach Nolan, Mike Talger from the Bottom Line Podcast. Quick question about your running back, Nate McCrae. Is he expected to be active in this game coming up?
Nate is, yes. Nate will be active, and so will Tal.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Bryce Perkins.